Alrighty, guys. Welcome everybody. Um, guys, today what we're gonna do, it's time for. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this ECOWAS thing, so I want you guys to go ahead and share the live. I'm going to, start to analyze this ECOWAS Parliament with everything that actually happened, where with all the concerns that the other MPs and the ECOWAS, the concerns that they had about between Liberia and Sierra Leone, but of course I'm specific to Sierra Leone, right? I'm going to analyze that ECOWAS video beginning today. It's a long video, so I'm not going to be able to do everything today, but I want us to start on a journey. So this is like a part one, where I'm going to start this, and then wherever I stop today, because I want to stay within an hour, and then I'll move on to the next thing. So basically that's what we're going to be showing I want to discuss with you guys today, analyze this, but I want you guys to listen to everything in totality. That way we can have an idea of what we're talking about, but whilst I'm waiting on you guys to join us, what I want to do is at least let me play a song whilst we're waiting for folks to come. So I would admonish you guys to go ahead and share the life. But that's what I want to talk about. Ibrahim, welcome, my brother. We're going to discuss this ECOWAS Parliament, so you guys would have a better understanding of what actually transpired at ECOWAS Parliament. The ECOWAS was formed so that member states within the West African region could avoid any future disasters. At least it's very important that we understand these things, right? Going back to all the rebel wars we've had in Liberia, Sierra Leone, ECOMOG got involved, the Sani Abachas and all of that stuff. So they had to form troops to come, and help governments within West Africa. And today we've seen coups within West Africa. Why? Because leaders in some of these countries have not been following protocols. So, for example, what we have in Sierra Leone today, all kinds of bad laws being passed, the killing of citizens, human rights abuses at high scale, right? So that was why ECOWAS was formed, so that, member states could send their representatives there, opposition as well as the ruling government. The opposition has a role to play when they go to ECOWAS Parliament, especially to point out the wrongs, because ECOWAS does not like to be blindsided. I mean, we all complain that ECOWAS is not good for purpose. We all complain that ECOWAS is not fit for any purpose, right? We all say that. But if the ECOWAS members of parliament are actually doing the best that they could, because when you listen to some of these guys, the concerns that they have, you would know definitely that there is a problem. So, but let me at least, play, some songs, some music or some sort, so that, you guys could, whilst you guys are coming in to join me, okay? Let's enjoy this song by a brother Emerson. All right, guys. I think that's a good way to warm up. Welcome, everybody. Like I said again, you've seen the title. Basically, what I want to do is, talk about this ECOWAS Parliament and the debacle that took place. Right. So we're going to build this case because every Sierra Leonean should stay involved. I want every Sierra Leonean should participate in our political climate. If you're complaining about, oh, these politicians, the country, everything is bad, nothing is working, you have no excuse, but you have to educate yourself on what is actually happening politically, because that is the only way we're going to fix Sierra Leone. You see, guys, we all have a responsibility as citizens. We have leaders, we choose them as leaders to represent us. And their job is to represent us and represent us well, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, opposition, or that of in the ruling government. Opposition should be opposition. I think, if anything, that is what we should push for, and that is why we should hold our leaders accountable. America, Europe, and all these other places. It's not overnight, right? All these beautiful things we see, 24-hour electricity. Look around me, right? Good roads, hospital, schools for our kids, all of that stuff. It is not overnight. It's not magic. People have to work hard to get to that point. People have to do what they're supposed to do. Everybody has to meet their responsibility. That is what we should do as a nation. That is what we should hold our leaders accountable for. And those are the things we should hold ourselves accountable. So if you're watching me from, Liberia, Nigeria, Gambia, I would love to have one or two of your MPs that were at the ECOWAS Parliament if they really want to discuss some of these issues. But what I want to do, like I said again, this is just the beginning. It's a part one of this whole session. I want to show you guys this ECOWAS session. And the reason is this. Our leader of the opposition, who is in APC, and that happens to be Cheno Majuba, Honorable Cheno Aremba. This could have been anybody. It could have been Santigi Sise. It could have been more like Kamara, right? But it happens today in Sierra Leone. The leader of the opposition is Cheno Aremba, who's the leader, who's the APC, a member that he belongs to the APC as a political party. This is the man who is supposed to represent us and speak for the voice of the voiceless, for the millions of Sierra Leoneans that have been disenfranchised, for the people that have been killed, the relatives, family, loved ones, right? All of the bad things that has occurred since SLPP came to power. This was his one opportunity leading up to elections. Guys, to win the elections, every citizen has a responsibility to do their own work. The members of parliament, particularly in the opposition, are the ones that should lead us in this fight. I'm sure we can all agree on that, right? The members of parliament are responsible to lead us in this fight. And that is why it is very crucial, and that is why it's very important that we ensure that these people lead us in this fight to remove President Bio. Our energy is going to be on the SLPP, but at the same time, the opposition should, the ones that are getting paid taxpayers' money, they ain't got to pay them taxpayer money. They are responsible to stand up for the people, therefore lead us at the battlefield. This work that I'm doing, I should not be the one doing this. This should be a member of parliament doing something like this. Have a platform, engage in civic participation, civic education, right? Talking to the people. How many members of parliament you don't have a platform like this? They will tell you they're bigger than social media, but they're not. This is the days of social media. I've showed you guys, President Joe Biden, all of these, former President Anisbai Kuroma, they all have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You know why they have it? Because they know that is where you can reach the people. So members of parliament, for us to kick the SLPP out successively and successfully, it's the members of parliament and the opposition leaders, these people that are vying for positions in the oppositions. Until we can get these people to go against ruling governments in Africa, Africa is not ready to move forward. If we allow them guys there, wait for they lead the battle against these ruling governments, when people's rights are being, vandalized and destroyed every now and again, we've seen what's happened within the 4 years of SLPP. Go all the way from the Makeni massacre, Parembaro prison massacre, Lonsar, Tombo, the killings. So ECOWAS parliament, like I was saying earlier, is set up for stuff like this. So these guys should lead us in the fight to get rid of the SLPP. They should be forefront and center. Every member of parliament. So sometimes you hear this lazy argument of people telling, oh, elections, they come, now left the opposition, now focus on the ruling government. We can focus on the ruling government for all we want. How much power do we have? How much power do I have? How much power do I have? The only thing I'm doing is waking people up, waking Sierra Leoneans up. These things that I'm saying, can you imagine the weight that it holds if the leader of the opposition speaks like this? Everything that I'm saying, if the leader of the opposition, people can hear him speak like this, when he went to the ECOWAS parliament to challenge the status quo, speak up for Sierra Leoneans, that has weight, that has power. The international community listens to those people, to the leaders of the opposition, more than they listen to us. So there is no way we can focus on the SLPP to kick the SLPP out. If these guys that should lead us in the fight, if these guys that should be advocating, if these guys that should be leading investigations against the ruling government, like we've seen what has happened. I mean, the NEC commissioner violated the people's rights to register properly. The verification process was flawed. We see they're imposing a PR system. We have called on the leader of the opposition. Section 86.2 gives him the power to summon, the NEC commissioner. Come to parliament. Come tell us why we have to, divide the registration process. 15 days for the very first time in Sierra Leone's history. For the very first time, even when in 1996, when we had the rebel war, people were registered for at least over 30 days, simultaneously across the country, concurrently across the country. So the leaders of the opposition are the ones that should lead us in this fight. So anyone that is telling you, oh, focus on the opposition, Marabio is going to go. But now, how is Marabio going to go if the people's rights to vote are not protected? Now, NEC has deleted over 250,000 names. The leader of the opposition, Cherino Majuba, who happens to be the leader of the opposition in APC right now, wrote a letter calling for an audit. Instead of summoning the NEC commissioner to come and testify publicly in front of Sierra Leone and the world to tell us why he deleted, 250,000. When are we going to have this audit report? Who's going to conduct this audit? When the parliament itself is an auditing institution by itself, they have the power. The leader of the opposition, Charikoko, can summon the speaker. The speaker shall, within 14 days, honor that call. If 20% of the members of parliament write a letter to say, I want to summon NEC Commissioner Mohamed Kanawi to come and testify. Why should we have to register 15 days? That is what we want to see in Africa. And until we as Sierra Leoneans decide for hold people accountable to that point, we're not going anywhere. I'm telling you, what we have is a joke. What we're up to is a joke. The people that are suffering are just going to continue to suffer. Them picking their way in the foot, they're rotting. Them Belauma where they go born and they die because we don't get proper healthcare facilities. Them bad roads, all of that, the poor educational standards, what we see. All of that stuff, we do nothing. We're not doing anything. We're not having any results if the people that should lead in this fight not take their place, rightfully so, at the front of this fight to get rid of Marabio. So that is why people like the opposition leaders in parliament and the members of parliament in the opposition should be the ones center forward. If these guys cannot stand up to the government, then what is the average Sierra Leonean going to say? That is why I'm going to take on this ECOWAS things, ECOWAS Parliament. Yesterday, I talked about the judiciary and everything. I trust the judges and all that stuff. But today, guys, now that I have enough of you guys, I'm going to start, with this ECOWAS Parliament, so you can listen to this lady, who presented, for the SLPP government. I want you guys to see this. Actually, let me start it from the top. Aha, let's start from the top, guys. I want you guys to see this. Let's watch this together. Let's watch this together. Whoa. You guys are saying there's no sound. All right. Let's sorry about that. Guys, let me know. Let me fix this. I'm sorry about that. Guys, I hope I'm tracking with you guys, because give me a second, guys. It's gonna start. It was just slow to start. So she's not saying anything right now, but she's about to speak. She's about to start speaking. So let's wait.
Members, the 22nd 2022 second ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament, Sierra Leone Country Report. Members of the delegation are as follows: Honorable Cherno Aremba, the leader of delegation; Honorable Sidi Tunis, our speaker; Honorable Veronica Kadisise; myself; Honorable Ajibola Mani Spain; and Honorable Shaka Sama. Introductions. Mr. Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, the Right Honorable Dr. Sidi Mohamed Tunis, honorable members, distinguished guests, it is with great pleasure I bring you one presentation from the government and the people of Sierra Leone. On behalf of our delegation, I want to thank the Speaker, bureau members, and staff of ECOWAS Parliament for facilitating this ordinary session, and we are highly pleased to extend our profound thanks and appreciation to the government and the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for their relentless and unflinching support to this Parliament. This report we present updates on issues highlighted in our previous report, which was presented to this House in June 2022, and will include the achievements we have made so far in meeting our obligations to ECOWAS. The following thematic areas will be covered in this report. 1. The political situation, the security situation, human rights situation, health situation, status of the implementation of the community texts and protocols, including the status of the implementation of community programs and projects, the performance of the microeconomic convergence criteria, the protocol relating to community levy, the protocol on free movement of persons and goods, the supplementary act on equality of rights between women and men for sustainable development in the ECOWAS region, and the environmental situation. Political situation in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Political Party Registration Commission, PPRC, Act has been repealed and replaced by the new Act. The Political Parties Regulation Commission, PPRC Act 2022. The Act seeks to provide for the continuation of the Political Parties Regulation Commission, including the registration of political parties in accordance with sections 34 and 35 of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone. In another related development, the Public Elections Act 2012 has been repealed and replaced by the Public Elections Act 2022. The new act, which is now the substantive act that regulates public elections, is progressive in nature. Take out the "the." In order to reduce the rates of violence among the youths, the Political Party Registration Commission, with support from the United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP, provided training on negotiation, dialogue, and mediation for political party women and youth leaders. This training has helped to reduce the increasing tension as we approach next year's general elections, raising awareness on their actions that will positively promote nation building and peace. The Commission also introduced a dialogue launch as a flagship program to bring together political leaders with representation in the House of Parliament to discuss and profile solutions to national issues. This program has relatively helped to bridge the gap between the leadership of political parties in Parliament and, by extension, has improved political tolerance. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the latest MCC scorecard shows that in the category of ruling justly, Sierra Leone passed 5 out of 6 indicators, including the control of corruption. For the first time, Sierra Leone also passed the land rights and access indicator. The 2023 financial MCC scorecard also revealed that Sierra Leone scored 100% in terms of primary education expenditure, followed by freedom of information, gas primary education completion rates, control of corruption, and immunization rates, among others. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the provisional results of the 2021 midterm population and housing census indicated that Sierra Leone has a total population of 7,541,641, of which 3,825,378, that is 1%, are women, and 3,716,263, that is 49%, are men. The census figures were meant to be used for constituency and ward boundary delineation, in addition to creating room for development and enhancing plans for the midterm development plan. The Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone has announced that it has not got enough time to use the 2021 midterm census figures to delineate ward and constituency boundaries. The Chief Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Mohamed Kone, announced that the June 24, 2023 general elections will be based on the district block proportional representation system. Though the opposition has rejected the PR system, maintaining that the condition under which the PR system can be declared does not exist. In the district block system, the election will be contested in 16 electoral districts by the political parties, and independent candidates for the block or number of seats in parliament allocated to the district. The district block system was last used for the 2002 parliamentary elections. The elections has indicated that political parties and independent candidates are expected to meet the threshold of 11.9% to win a seat in the next parliament if the electoral regulations that will govern the conduct of the 2023 elections are approved by Parliament. The regulations on the district block representation system and the local government proportional representation system were laid in Parliament on the 23rd November 2022. The main opposition, All People's Congress, APC, who had registered its opposition to the proportional representation system, were accused of disrupting the proceeding, during which violence erupted and the police were to restore decorum in the well of Parliament. Pursuant to Section 170, subsection 7 of the 1991 Constitution, the regulation shall come into force after the expiration of 21 days or until annulled by 2/3 of votes cast by members of Parliament. The security situation in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, Sierra Leone has remained peaceful after the August 10 unrest, though incidents of violent crimes such as robbery, assault, continue to pose a serious threat to peace, especially in Freetown. Local police often lack resources to deal effectively with serious criminal incidents, demonstrations, and protests, which have often resulted in violence. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on August 10, 2022, a protest against high cost of living resulted into deadly clashes between security forces and protesters, calling for President Julius Maada Bio to resign. Violence erupted in Freetown and other parts of the nation, which led to the death of 21 civilians and 6 security personnel. The government set up a 15-member special committee to investigate the August 10 demonstrations and their aftermath, including the causes, the source of financing, the execution and consequences of the violent acts, and to also assess the response of security forces during the riots. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on the 17th October 2022, a funeral ceremony was held for the victims of August 10 violent unrest. The government provided funds to each family to help with funeral rites. The victims were laid to rest in separate graves in Bolima Cemetery, Waterloo District, in the outskirts of Freetown. Intra and inter-party clashes often increase as we approach elections. The government maintains that changing to a PR system of voting will significantly reduce election violence, especially with the elimination of by-elections. Freetown, the capital city, is prone to landslide due to persistent torrential rains, which has continued to cause loss of lives and properties. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, human rights situation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, there has been several reforms in the area of human rights in Sierra Leone. Among the Mano River countries, Sierra Leone is ranked first as the most peaceful country in the Mano River Basin. And the 2022 Global Peace Index, the GPI, report ranked Sierra Leone in the 50th position. The Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions has granted Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone a Grade 1 status in its latest ranking, indicating that Commission fulfill its obligations under the Paris Principles. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the US-based World Justice Project in 140 countries and jurisdictions shows that adherence to the rule of law fell in 61% of countries in 2022, but Sierra Leone's overall score increased by 1.2% and ranked 105th out of 140 countries nationwide, rising 3 positions from last year's. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, to show how much importance the government places on education as a human right, the Student Loan Scheme Fund Act 2021 has been passed into law. The act is seeking to provide financial assistance.
All right, guys. So this go on and on and on and on, right? I just wanted to lay this premise, at least so you guys hear exactly. So the issues that are really important to people like ourselves is basically the human rights, because all this other, what she's saying now about the education, we all know that's garbage, right? Education, nonsense for 4 years. We still see the sufferings of our kids. No proper schooling, no proper buildings. You know, in the capital city, they are still struggling with toilet and water in their bathrooms, right? In these schools. So we're not even going to go there. Let's leave that. But what's important? Let's talk about what this lady started off with. The most important issues when you talk about the peace and stability of our country. Now, don't forget, this lady is representing the SLPP, Honorable Victoria. That's her name, right? And we have another gentleman called Honorable Shaka Sama. He's independent, but he's more SLPP leaning. These are the folks that broke away from the SLPP because at some point they had their initial, disagreements. That's fine. That's their politics. As whatever, you can be whatever you want to be. You can belong to whatever political party you want to belong to. That's your right. That's your preference. You have Honorable Chino Haremba and Honorable Manly Spain of the APC party. These two, folks were supposed to represent the opposition. So everything this lady said, when you talk about all the laws they've passed, the PPRC has been changed, the name changed, the regulation, instead of Political Party Registration Commission is now the Political Party Regulation Commission, whatever that is. Public elections laws, they had to change the public election laws to add the NIN number, the NACRA, right? We all saw how people struggled just to be able to, register. We saw the struggles and pains of Sierra Leoneans when it came to all of that. I don't have to go into all of that. I want to take my time to digress and start to show you all those videos. You've all seen that citizens struggled a lot to be able to register. And we saw young kids that should be turning 18 by, next year, June 24. They gave them the run for their money. They tell them you have to have an NIN number. They go to the birth and death to get their birth certificates. When they go there, they tell them, oh, it's the blue one, it's the yellow one. We saw that. And worst of it all, we saw 250,000 names, 250,000 names, Sierra Leoneans' names that were deleted from the voter register by the NEC commissioner, Mohamed Kanawe Kone. Everybody knows these facts. So now this lady made a presentation. And what I want to share with you guys, which I want you all to see, is, the members, after she finished with this, now the members of the ECOWAS Parliament, we're going to talk about some of the issues they've heard. Guys, our advocacy, we've been talking about these things, right? What is happening in Sierra Leone? That is why I have this platform. I mean, it's taking so much time out of my time, the time that I should spend and, take care of. But, I say, Sierra Leone is bigger than all of us. When you look at the bottom of my screen, Section 13B of the Constitution makes it very clear. We all have to cultivate a sense of nationalism and patriotism, which is what I intend to do. Now, this lady gave the report on behalf of the government. Honorable Chino Majuba saw this report. Now, there was time for these people to respond. And this is where the contention comes in, which is why I'm taking my time. This is part one, like I said. When this man was supposed to respond to some of the queries and questions members of the ECOWAS Parliament have, this man was nowhere to be seen. Honorable Chino Ba of the APC party. This is the same man who was not at Parliament when they were fighting, the leader of the opposition. This is the same man who went to ECOWAS parliament to represent us. When it was time for him to speak up, they said he has traveled again to Sierra Leone because he had an emergency. This man just not communicates with his people. For me, it is the amount of contempt that these guys have for Sierra Leoneans. As a leader of the opposition, when he's traveling, we ought to know. When he's leaving that country, we ought to know. You know why? This is not a security concern. It is the fact that we are taxpayers. Sierra Leoneans are actually paying for his flight, his airline ticket, his hotel bill, his food, everything that he's going to be doing. It's paid for by Mami Modu, by Mami Yebu, Basori. Then pay where they young money where they sell them to pop card and treat. Now then pay in fair for like going to Nigeria ECOWAS. So he should represent us. How can anybody in Sierra Leone, any other job, you would lose your job immediately? Why should this man be representing us in parliament as an opposition leader if this man is derelict in duty? The tell they need him for performing a role is not there. This lady don't talk all kind of bogus nonsense. The killings of people, August 10th protest. Well, we all not support. I did not support that protest. That protest was not timely. But again, a protest is a protest. Regardless of what people say about the protest, governments have no rights to kill people. But we know say that protest was going to interrupt and disrupt stuff. So we did not support that protest. But it happened. So people's rights to protest, as protected by Section 26, subsection 1 in the Constitution, is guaranteed. Every citizen has the right to protest. Every citizen has the protections to their freedoms of assembly and association. Because that's what the Constitution say. And nobody know for hinder their rights when it comes to protest. So nobody know for kill nobody. People lost their lives. Police got killed because some idiots sit down somewhere, they tell them, say, when I kill the police, go burn that police station, this and that, and all that nonsense. But this lady went out there as the presenter of the report. When, matter of fact, the leader of the delegation should have reported, should have read out this report. But whatever the case may be, he has signed and delegated to this lady. Now, I'm going to take you guys to where members of ECOWAS, these parliamentarians in ECOWAS, started asking fundamental questions now, where we needed answers from, the opposition, and they were nowhere to be found, which is very important. So let me share one of these members of parliament. They concern with them beget. Report
an increase in the log and timber production, and in addition to charcoal wood production. These are contradicting. Are they fighting towards
is getting to
climate green environment? Or
he's talking about Liberia right now, but give it a few seconds, he's going to switch to Sierra Leone.
Is there any law that really discourages this? We would like to know. So these are the two questions I have for Liberia. And as for Sierra Leone, we want them to elaborate on what do they mean by the block district system. What does it entail? How is that conducted? Hence, there has been a census being conducted, but they're not going by that. Rather, they're going by the district block system. What is the arrangement? If you win, what percentage do you collect? Or what is the entire system? And secondly, also, on page 3, it's been reported that on the 17th of October 2022, a funeral ceremony was held for the victim of August 10th violence unrest. The government provided funds for each family to have the funeral rites. The victims were laid to rest in a separate graves in Bolima Cemetery, Waterloo. We want to also know whether there has been any opportunity created to make sure that the victim family deserve or given the rights to come and bury their own people. Has there been any avenue created to give back the bodies to the families of victims for them to be laid to rest? We're interested to know that. That is my question to the delegation. And I will stop here and give others the opportunity. Thanks so much.
Guys, this is simple. It's not rocket science. Basically, this guy is only saying, he has questions. Who not tell me Sierra Leoneans them? Who not a better person for answer the question with this guy get? If the opposition leader has said that the PR system is not something that we want, who not before they're in a better position at a time like this at ECOWAS Parliament when these guys are concerned about the safety and security of our country? Who would have been in a better place to answer this question other than Honorable Chino Majuba, who's the leader of the delegation, who happens to be the opposition leader? Would Honorable Victoria of the SLPP be honest about this? Sierra Leoneans say we don't want the PR system because the condition precedent. So I'm going to take my time. In the absence of Honorable Cherikoko, Cheno Majuba, I'm going to answer the question now for this honorable member. I'm going to play the role of Honorable Cheno Majuba now as the leader of the opposition. What would have been his comment? What would have been his response to this member of parliament on the question that he has about the PR system? I'm going to take him up to section 38, subsection 4 of the Constitution. That tells us that our boundaries, NEC from time to time would draw boundaries, and these boundaries have a lifespan of about 5 to 7 years. So currently, the boundaries that we have, which gives us the constituencies that we have a lifespan of 5 to 7 years. I'm breaking this in the simplest term possible. So the last boundary delimitation that gives us constituencies, because for you to have a constituency, you have what is done, you do what is called a boundary delimitation, right? The last boundary delimitation for this honorable member of parliament was done in 2017, which means 5 years is 2022. So about this December or so is when we're actually up for 5 years. So the provision in the Constitution makes it clear that between 5 and 7 years, that's 2 years. So where NEC can start, conducting boundary delimitations again to prepare for the next election, not this election coming, but it's going to be for 2028. Because next elections, all the constituencies that we have right now, since they have a lifespan of 7 years, which means they expire in 2024, our elections is next year in 2023. So these constituencies that we have right now are good to go for the elections that we have on June 24, 2023. So in the absence of Honorable Cheno Majuba, I've answered the question for this honorable member of parliament. But hey, guys, my question will be the answer, so you don't get wait. I'm just me, Ibrahim. I'm not a member of parliament. I'm not a powerful political figure. I'm not Honorable Cheno Majuba. I don't want to be him. It would never be me. I would never be him. We're totally two different kinds of people. Different set, different mindset and everything. But we had a responsibility for showcase the international world to prevent future conflicts, to prevent another outbreak of war in Sierra Leone, where people would feel disaggrieved, people would feel aggrieved, people would feel disenfranchised, and say, you know what, I cannot take this anymore. Like people like Ali Kaba that went to the bush, 1991, Charles Taylor said it, Ali Kaba and Sabina di Mataba in Libya. He said Ali Kaba went to the bush, took up arms against the state because they were tired of suppression, oppression, bad governance, police, judiciary, terrible things, right? So that is what Honorable Cheno Majuba of the APC should have done in this situation to protect the reputation of Sierra Leone for future, to avoid future conflicts. To explain to these members of parliament, because they don't understand Sierra Leone's constitution. They have their own constitution to look at. Which, of course, you all know the Constitution is a very detailed and big, book to look at. So they cannot even handle their own Constitution. Why would they want to know so much about, take the time to read so much to find out about the Sierra Leone's Constitution? That is why you have Honorable Cheno Majuba, who is a lawyer, to explain these things to these guys. This man had an opportunity to represent Sierra Leoneans, all the citizens that have been killed. This man mentioned the killing of citizens and they were buried. We all saw the wife of Evangelist Samson. I don't know if I have to play all these videos. I don't want to play these videos. Let's just talk about these things. You guys have seen these videos of this lady crying for her husband. All she wanted was to bury her husband, give him a befitting burial. Citizens did not accept the money from this government. They said, give us our kids. Fatmata was killed when she was cooking for her dad. Young Pekin. 15 years of age, was killed on August 10th. There were dozens of people were killed after August 10th protest. Evangelist Samson, Cheno Majuba, Honorable Cherikoko had an opportunity to fight for that young man. But let's continue this. Another MP has another question. They have another concern because they care about Sierra Leone. Apparently, they care about Sierra Leone more than the leader of the opposition actually cares about Sierra Leone. Let's continue. Listen to this.
Merci à vous, honorable Ogene.
Thank you for yielding the floor to me. As members of ECOWAS Parliament, we are supposed to see early warning signs of the political situation. They saw it in Guinea and a host of other places, and they couldn't take any action, and the military struck. You find out that each time the military strikes is because of the shortcoming of we, the politicians. From the two reports presented, I take on Liberia first. On the, let's see. So what I'm saying is that such a thing needs to be investigated. They're going to Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone report is beautiful. But we also hear, it's stated here that there's a major dispute as to representation and how the election will be done. It's obvious. If you speak with one Sierra Leone delegate or two, they will tell you that the political situation they are going towards the election is unstable. There's no need for we to hide anything from each other here. If we in Nigeria discover that there will be no free or fair election, of course we say it out. Because if we say it out, and ECOWAS intervenes, it's helping us. But if we know that there's something that could create problem in the country, and then we come here and sit there and say something, and something happens, we have lost two countries. So I think we need to look at the political situation is in Liberia and Sierra Leone, as reported by the two papers. Thank you very much.
That is another member of parliament. These people care more than Honorable Cheno Majuba. Listen, guys, we're going to get rid of Marabio. But the only way we can get rid of Marabio is when people like Honorable Cheno Majuba of the APC as the leader of the opposition plays his part, takes his role very seriously. This man is making thousands of dollars, if not over $90,000 a year. That's just his salary. We all know what happens in these parliaments with everything else, all the bad concessions, all the deals that they've been signing. This man is making at least $90,000 a year for nothing. Because at this point, it's for nothing. What is he there for? This man had an opportunity to protect Sierra Leone, to protect our country, giving the precedents we've had, giving what has happened in the past, giving the folks that lost their limbs, people's hands got cut off, people's head got chopped off, pregnant women got their belly were opened, whilst the rebels were arguing if it's a boy or a girl, and they would split their stomach open just to figure out if it's a boy or a girl. It happened in Sierra Leone during the 10 years rebel war. Honorable Cheno Majuba should know these things and understand that that is what is at stake. It is not a selfish motive. That is not what we care about. We care about people representing us to protect the integrity of our country, to protect the reputation of Sierra Leone, to prevent future violent conflicts from erupting in a peaceful country. Sierra Leoneans are loving people. We care. We don't want to see pain. We don't want to see our brothers and sisters get hurt no more. That is why we have a democracy, and the opposition should do their jobs. If the government of the day is violating the rights of the citizens, it is the responsibility of the opposition to cry loudly about these things. Call the attention of the international community. That is the way we can fight back. We don't want members of parliament to be fighting karate in parliament. No. We want to see legislative moves being made by members of parliament. And this was one such legislative move that Honorable Cherikoko could have pulled on behalf of Sierra Leoneans. He had an opportunity at the ECOWAS parliament where nobody can beat him up. Nobody can say, oh, this man is a... No. This man has to represent us like a true opposition member. There is nothing about protecting the image of your country at the expense of the lives of the people. You say to protect people alive, they are killing our citizens. Oh, they don't matter to you because they're not your kids, they're not your brothers, they're not your sisters. Your family is safe. That is if you have a family, because we don't even know if you have a family at this point. We've never seen this man. I don't know if he has a wife or kids or whatever his case is. Everything is secretive. We don't even know nothing about this man. But no, the people that have been killed since Makeni massacre, since the Panama prison massacre, Tombo, Tonkolimba, Lonsar, Tombo, all of these places, they are killing our citizens. What has this man done? He had this one opportunity at ECOWAS parliament now. And this man dodged. Where was he? This man should refund us our money again. He should refund every penny that was paid for by Sierra Leoneans for him to go represent us at ECOWAS parliament. And when they wanted him, it was nowhere to be found. We'll get there. But let's continue with these members of parliament crying out, seeking answers. Let us continue with this. Let's listen to this. This is the member of parliament.
For the candor displayed in this report, because they have been very candid in trying to present, the problem as it is to us. And I think as be able to lend our voice to calling on all concerned to take proactive measures to ensure that the conduct of the censors is not marred with with these problems. The second issue I want to talk about in Liberia, also more of a commendation, is the passage of the law that guarantees 30% representation for women in parliament.
Guys, bear with him, it's coming.
It's a very good one, which I hope other countries will be able to
bear with him, it's coming to Sierra Leone.
Emulate.
It's just laying a spade work.
In accordance with the global trend of trying to entrench more women participation in our decision making. On Sierra Leone, Mr. Speaker, I'm also concerned about the political stability in Sierra Leone. And I want to say that in the countries in West Africa today, it appears to me to be one of the most worrisome because of the reports that come out, especially with regards to management of intra and inter-party conflict. Mr. Speaker, there was a reference to the...
This guy, he actually went even deeper. This guy actually spoke on the intra-party problems. When you talk about this faction that sued the executive of the APC, that is what he's talking about here. He went even deeper to give Honorable Cherno Bah and Honorable Manley Spain, that represents the opposition, the opportunity to explain what has actually happened within the APC party. That is why we say this man is a friend of George Fisher. George Fisher gave Honorable Cherno Majuba, the APC party, dissolved the executive of the APC, handed over the party to him in parliament for him to select people that he wants to be in the ITGC. When, matter of fact, they actually went to court to fight against selection within the APC as a political party. But then the judge, unilaterally, a man that is not even qualified to become a judge in Sierra Leone, right? There are so many cases, and I'm going to, let me not digress. Let me stay on this. Let me focus on this. Focus, Ibrahim. Stay focused. Don't digress. This man, Cherry Coco, from Honorable Cherno Majuba, was handed over. The APC party was handed over to him. When the PPRC has never told us that the executive of former President Nkrumah and Payansane were illegal. Because the PPRC, again, is the institution that is responsible to regulate the activities of political party. Therefore, if the executive of the APC was unconstitutional at the time, the PPRC would have been the first institution to speak up about that. Guys, I'm taking my time to break these things down. But Honorable Shanoba had an opportunity from this MP who even went deeper now into the intra-political party affairs. That is the fracas within the APC and how the judiciary was used to dissolve the executive. Honorable Cherno Majuba had an opportunity now to explain to this honorable member of parliament in ECOWAS what had actually transpired, to voice out the concerns and pain of the people of Sierra Leone. People lost their lives the day they announced that former President Nkrumah and Payansane should vacate the office of the APC. People lost their lives. People had heart attacks that day. They had heart attacks. They died that day. People that voted for this elected executive of the APC, a constituted legal organ of the APC, Honorable Cherno Majuba. If these guys were not behind the dissolution of the executive of APC, I had an opportunity now for I explain to the world, to Salon people, to the ECOWAS parliament, to prevent future conflicts, to say yes, now so the judiciary interfere inside the APC party activity. What did the judiciary do? A judge single-handedly dissolved the executive of the party, can't deal with the party in a parliament. A same judiciary system again, where remove 10 members of parliament. These member of parliament, they complain for Honorable Cherno Majuba of APC. Again, the opportunity, open goal, say, come now, come talk to me about this thing. This man was nowhere to be found. He don't run away, he go. He never forgo talk to me because if he talk, say it's a sellout. Because of whatever bargain he has done with the SLPP, we don't know. But why was this man, when he had an opportunity, he should answer this question. Every Sierra Leonean should ask Honorable Cheno Majuba to answer we. He owe we that. This man is no God. This man owe we a responsibility. We now employ them. Now we employ him as Sierra Leoneans. He owe we the responsibility to come out and tell us where he was. They can tell we whose kind of emergency we get. Every Sierra Leonean should come. Let this man ask this man for tell we what kind of emergency does he have? Why he go na ECOWAS parliament? When for go and go defend the other members of parliament them? Where if they left for if they say them beats them in parliament, they say them beats them. If this was real, why Cherry Coco not get this opportunity? We get this opportunity now to come at ECOWAS and discuss these things and talk to the ECOWAS parliament and tell them how disgusted he is with the political tension in the country, which is not good for us as a nation. Why was it that Honorable Cheno Majuba walked away from the ECOWAS parliament, could not answer the questions of this man? Let's continue this man in video.
The August 10th protest and the measures that happened after them. But there was a specific reference to the establishment of a panel of inquiry. Maybe that was not the exact word used, but a panel that was supposed to investigate the causes of the August 10th protest and try to also look at culpabilities, if any, and bring out measures to prevent such. Unfortunately, we do not have an indication that that process has been completed. August to December is such a long time, and the elections are just close by. I want to know what time frame exists for that panel of inquiry and how all-encompassing is that panel of inquiry, how inclusive is it of members of the opposition, especially in ensuring that whatever report come out of it is acceptable to all. And finally, like my colleague also said, the issue of the conflict we had and the
it's about to get to the parliament, but before we even get to that, let's talk about the panel that was instituted to look into the August 10 killings. Honorable Cheno Majuba had an opportunity to respond to this man. Would I expect the SLPP people to talk the truth? The SLPP folks would not say the truth. But Honorable Cheno Majuba, as the opposition, a real opposition that cares about democracy, we care about them picking away the sick when they get access to health care. We care about a country where they come from a brutal rebel war, where people lost their lives, their hands got cut off. We got bigger people all over the country today. Honorable Cheno Majuba, they pass inside Moscow with him wine in glass up, AC the blow. Those people are sitting at court until their hand and caught, their foot and caught, then they beg, then they peddle, they don't get jobs. Young people across the country, all they get and they say they car wash, they don't have a job. People they graduate college, they don't get a job. Honorable Cherry Coco had an opportunity. Honorable Cheno Majuba had an opportunity to talk about the August 10 protest, the panel that was set up to look into that, for clarify to the world, to bring clarity to the rest of these members of parliament in ECOWAS. We cannot blame ECOWAS if anything happens in Sierra Leone. Who we should blame is people like Honorable Cherry Coco, because he had the responsibility to awaken the ECOWAS parliament so that they can stand firm and say, let us protect Sierra Leoneans and protect Sierra Leone. Because you know why? Whenever there is instability in any one of these West African countries, it affects every other one. When Guinea had a coup recently, they closed the border. People that do business between Guinea and Sierra Leone suffered as a result of that. For a couple of weeks, they could not go and buy business. Those that were trapped in Guinea could not come back to Sierra Leone. So you see, that is how it's geospatial. It affects us across the board. So they're concerned, especially those countries that we share a border with, the Liberia, the Guinea, all of these ones, right? Honorable Cheno Majuba had an opportunity, Sierra Leoneans, to clarify this. Now let's get to the parliament brawl that this man wants to talk about. Listen to this.
Sierra Leonean parliament on the debate concerning the amendment of the law to ensure that representation is now based on proportion, to entrench proportional representation. That happened just a couple of days ago, that we had a very major brawl on the floor of the parliament in Sierra Leone. I want the delegation to please throw more light on this, and how well are they also able to solve the problems surrounding this, to ensure that whatever amendment of the law happens in good time before the actual elections. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Guys, Honorable Cheno Majuba of the APC as a political party You see, Sierra Leoneans, let us cultivate a sense of nationalism and patriotism. Regardless of if this person are your brother, behave this way, call them out, tell them the fact. We are going to get rid of the SLPP. But I repeat, it is people like Honorable Chino Majuba that should lead us in this fight. And if for the front and center, it should lead us in this fight to get rid of the SLPP. There's no magic, there's no two ways about this. He has a moral responsibility. Now, if for Timat before, all people are on them. What I'm doing right now is what Honorable Chino Majuba of the APC should be doing. Honorable Chino Majuba should be taken to platforms. This man has been in parliament for 15 years, for God's sake. In the last 4 years, this man has never been on BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, Voice of America. Nothing. No international platform. With every atrocity that has happened. I want to ask ourselves this question. Is this person a true opposition member? This person electing country? Now protect this person, they protect Sierra Leone. So when things are happening that are terrible, unconstitutional occurrences, human rights abuses, these can lead to terror in most countries. Now let this man elect in country where they sit up and keep quiet about these things. Now let elect the citizens that are being affected, the people that are losing their lives. Not only the ones that are physically killed, people are dying from heartache, from poverty. People they had the poor, so man they see no more. There is no hope for them. That poor last day alone, they not get long life. The life expectancy in Sierra Leone for man today is about 45 actually. For women, it's about 54, 55. That is the life expectancy in Sierra Leone. It is people like Honorable Chino Majuba. I will say it to his face. I will debate this man anywhere in any part of the world. I will debate anybody in a public forum to say it's people like them that are responsible for the demise of Sierra Leone's democracy. They are responsible for the demise of the human rights standards in our country. They are responsible for the terrible infrastructural development that we don't have. It is people like Honorable Chino Majuba. You cannot hold and fight the government, but you can put their feet to the fire. You're not going to go fight the president physically. No, you don't have to fight physically. No, but through legislative work, through advocacy, through speaking up in public forums, speaking to the rest of the world, this would bring the change that we're seeking for. Marabio not destroyed Sierra Leone by himself. Marabio destroyed Sierra Leone today with the help of their members of parliament, especially when you take the leader of the opposition that should stand up and defend and protect the basic, fundamental, and constitutional rights of the citizens of Sierra Leone. This is not about APC. This is bigger than just APC. This is about Sierra Leone as a country. Because when trouble happens, and they pick APC or SLPP or People's Liberation Academy supporters them. No. Which we, of course, get for turn a political party in Sierra Leone. My People's Liberation Academy is going to become a political party. Not this time, but maybe by 2028. We have enough time to plan for that. But Honorable Chino Majuba is responsible. He has a responsibility to salvage our democracy. Section 105 of the Constitution states that Parliament is the supreme legislative authority. Chino Majuba is like the third most powerful person in Sierra Leone. When I call his name, it could have been again Santigi Sise. It can be Maria Tubangura. It could have been anybody, but it's the leader of the opposition who is occupying this office. And it's very important that we call these people out. I want a Salonde like America. Guys, I want to be able to go and settle in Sierra Leone. I know I'm guaranteed of electricity, water, access to healthcare. I want to take my family, go to Sierra Leone and know, say, even if I go in a village, I have access to internet. I have everything that I need. But with people like Honorable Cherikoko in the mix, that is responsible, people like him that are responsible to hold the government so that the government can provide the resources that we need. If he's not doing his job, then we have a problem. This man had an opportunity at this ECOWAS parliament. It failed us woefully. He had an opportunity. Elections is around the corner. If this man be don't see himself with his look, say, this guy, I know they talk now because maybe elections is further away. So maybe by close to election, he's going to be charged up and fired up. So close to elections, this man is going to come out here and bamboozle this government. Guys, we have 6 months left to elections. According to our WhatsApp audio, we have 191 days left to elections. With myself, Cashbox, Corricator, and People's Power. Of course, our brother People's Power is sick. I hope he feels better. But we have 191 days. In the 100 days, SLPP gets only virtually about, the 100 days. So 90, 3+ months plus, SLPP has only 100 days in governance. 100 days in governance. The rest of the 90 days, now elections, campaigning now, and all of that stuff. Which, of course, brother Comrade I want to emphasize. So that is why I'm pushing and taking my time to emphasize that as well. 100 days now, SLPP get the power. The rest of the 90 days, now campaigning and the day of elections. And that's it. Honorable Chairo Majuba, at this particular point now, we foresee him on TV, radio stations, taking on international platforms, coming and talking to people, highlighting the terrible things of the SLPP, like what I'm doing right now, so that the people of Sierra Leone would know why they should not vote for the SLPP and Marabio again. That is his responsibility. Now, for lead we in this fight. So we all have to channel our energy on SLPP. But whenever we can channel our energy, the mandate way for lead the fight, not the lead the fight. People like Honorable Chairo Majuba and every other opposition, Kande Yumkela, Emerson Lamina, every sitting member of parliament. And they stress on the fact that it's APC because APC is on the verge of winning the elections. APC is going to win the elections. Dr. Samari Kamara might become the next president. That is the vision we all have. But how are we going to get rid of the SLPP if Honorable Chairo Majuba has been silent about the 250,000 names? Where is this man? Where is the anger in this man? But I'm going to say, no, this man, they keep in peace because he wanted peace then at the country. No, the peace might be temporary, but down the line, it has an effect. Yesterday, I did a live. There was a civil society guy that was talking about the fact that, he was fortunate to witness the trials of Charles Taylor and Milosevic at The Hague. It's a civil society in Sierra Leone. Babadi is his name, Thomas. He was talking about that, giving us the examples of how the judiciary was part of the problem and everything, and the parliament and all of this stuff. But they were focused on the judiciary. Guys, the Truth and Reconciliation made it very clear. So the peace might be temporary right now, but in the long run, it festers. Think about it. Albert Magai of the SLPP passed all the bad laws between 1964 and 1967. When Shaka Stevens came to power, as soon as you see Shaka Stevens, that's him behind me there. When he came to power in 1968, all the laws were already in place. So what did he do? He capitalized on the laws. And that is how we had for 28 years, he stayed in power. So picture this. Everything that happened, Ali Kabaz, they waited for 28 years. That's how long they had to wait. So what Honorable Chairo Majuba is doing, it could be, people can be patient for a year, for 2 years. But don't forget, we have ex-combatants now amongst us in Sierra Leone. All it takes is a little bit of flair. These guys are ready to go. That is why we are calling people like Honorable Chairo Majuba to join us in this fight. Stay at the center. We work for CNN and then radio, TV stations them across the country. They challenge the SLPP at this particular point in time. They talk about everything that they've done from within camp. In 4 years, they've not debated the audit report. Honorable Chairo Majuba should take now to radio stations, TV stations. If they don't allow him, if they don't give him a platform, there are platforms out there. It doesn't have to come to my platform, but there are other APC platforms that he can go to talk about these things, to prepare Sierra Leoneans that come June 24, 2023. They should not vote for the SLPP. Guys, this conversation continues, but it's over an hour. So I want to leave it right here as it is, guys. And tomorrow we'll continue from here. But, this is painful, guys. This is very, very painful. Do this. I want to play for you guys to understand where I'm going. Let me play this short segment of, these guys when, Honorable Sheka Sama, actually made a very buoyant point when he said, that when he made a very valid point, say, not so in business for they ask him who side the opposition day. I want to play that video. I end the live here, and then tomorrow we will continue. But I want to play that video because I want you guys to see what I'm talking about, so that we'll take it from there. But it's a very sad state of affairs with what is actually happening. Let me show you guys that. Matter of fact, it's on here. Let me see. Guys, bear with me. Let me just see where Shaka Sama. Okay. I'm sure I can find him here.
And the National Commission, the National Land Commission. Now, all those laws are very progressive. For example, 6 seats in the district. Then number 1 to 6 will be announced, and the MPs.
Guys, let me find Shaka Sama.
Now there's a threshold.
I have it on my Twitter page.
Nick has stated.
Matter of fact, I just put it on my Twitter page. Give me 1 second. But guys, once I'm doing this, I want you guys to reflect the thing that I've showed you guys. I want you guys to think about it. By the way, if you haven't shared the live, go ahead and share the live. I want you guys to reflect because I'm going to continue with this tomorrow. We cannot let people get away with any other Sierra Leonean, any other government workplace or any private sector. We're not doing job wouldn't they pay them for. They'll be ostracized to the point where they might even lose their job. So it is that same standard that we should apply to people, that are supposed to represent us internationally as well, right? We have a moral responsibility to do that. So let me play. Matter of fact, let me play this video. Let me play this video. This is very comprehensive. Let me show you guys. Let me play this video, guys. I want you guys to see this. Listen to this. Listen to this. Everybody listen.
Just before we get into the potency of the community parliament itself and whether or not it's fit for purpose at this moment, I'm aware, and majority of Sierra Leoneans are aware, that the head of Sierra Leone's delegation to the ECOWAS parliament is the parliamentary leader of the opposition, APC, Cheno Ramadan Majuba. So what happened that the report was presented by Honorable Veronica Kadisise in that parliament?
I don't know the background situation of that, but I was in Abuja on Friday and he left on Friday. And Saturday, this report was presented.
No, I come to Senator Snow. Senator Snow said there are 5 members of delegation. 2 members are not at the opposition. Why are they not here? That question should go to those who are not here, not us. Okay? Those are not questions for us. We are here. Now, but for your information, I want to tell you that our leader of delegation, Honorable Ba, is presently in Sierra Leone. He had an emergency activity to attend to, and he went. So, what can we answer? And he's part of that. Honorable Man Spain was here, he went out. So I cannot tell you why he went out. But let me tell you this. It is their responsibility as members of the opposition to stay here and listen to the reports and maybe give their comments if they disagree with anything that is raised here. So here, the question should go to them, not to us. Senator Snow.
First off, just generally, with what was presented and the fact that the head of that delegation comes from your party, but left early. Well, I don't know what happened. Abdul was there. He didn't know either what really transpired. He left on a Friday and the report was presented on a Saturday. What does that speak to in terms of the state of Sierra Leone itself?
I want you guys to listen to this.
Mr. Wise, to be honest with you, it will be unfair if I make any comments about that, because I would have thought that Mr. Fatoma would have been in a position to be able to give us the specifics of what happened.
Thank you. That was, Lawyer Lansana Dumbuya, who's vying for the Secretary General of the APC party. If you guys noticed, he did not answer the question because it's very tough, and I can understand where he's coming from. You know, it was terrible, guys. It was terrible. So, but everybody, I want to appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys have other things to do, but it's the situation that we found ourselves in. It's very crucial. We have to stand up and speak up about these things, and we all have a responsibility. If we are going to get rid of Malabio, members of parliament should lead us forth in this fight. We cannot play hide and seek with these people. Enough is enough, and that is what that really matters. So, but I want to thank you guys. Reflect on this. I'm going to leave you guys with this song, this election song. I'm sure you guys would appreciate it in times like these, and I'll take it from there. But bye everybody. Let me go talk to my family. Since I got home, I haven't even said hello to everybody properly. I know they want to say hello to me, but thank you everybody. I'm going to leave you guys with this so we could have a nice evening. Okay, bye everybody.
Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, alone, now we go. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. Let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflicts, opinions separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the groove. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, alone, now we go. For too long, so long. Our return seem impossible, even though we fight. Our progress gets difficult every day. We all need a moment of silence to know who we are and why we exist. We've been down too long in the slum, so long. With a declining economy and increasing adversities. Designed by the vaunting ambition of those who lead us. The young men spend fruitless hours in the ghetto. No future, no hope. The young girls gave up their pride of womanhood. Why for survival? Parents spend sleepless nights thinking how to settle the bills. Inflation causing madness everywhere. Our children have no other future. See how we're falling apart. Let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflicts, opinion separate us. That's hand in hand. We go into the booth. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, alone, now we own. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. Let us think and rethink it over again. See all what we've gone through. Let us build a peaceful time and a better place for us to be. We are a people of love and splendor of God's beauty on our faces. Let's recall those days when men were men and women took pride in their full breast with beads round their necks and heels. Let the man say, Buwabisye. Let the man say, Wabibena. Kula man say, Jaramaha. Jabra man say, Babisekeo. Kuya man say, Pamona Kusha, 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 Kusha. Yes, we could all live together again as one. Politics should not be an instrument of division anymore. We may even agree to disagree and resolve the difference in the booth. Let no man deceive you with vainglory. No, not even with the sugar-coated vibes. So let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflict, opinion separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the polls. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, follow now we go. And before the next sunrise, our picture is already set. Wipe away your tears and roll your pains away. To every man and woman in this nation, once again there's spent to redeem. Restore the lost pride of our beloved country. Let no man make a fool of us again as people. Even as we forgive and forget, we must learn to accept defeat as much as we are determined to succeed. Give tolerance and love without violence to one another. It's time again for election. Let's be sober and in our right mind. Take away sycophancy and hypocrisy from our minds. Let the right man be in the right place. Let the voice of the people be heard. Yes, we want it free and fair. We don't want no gunmen, power. We are tired of it all. Yes, we want it free and fair. The future is in our hands. We can't go living in the past anymore. Let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflict, opinion separate us. But hand in hand, we go into the polls. Democracy, the government of the people, by the people, for the people, alone now we own. And before the next sunrise, our future is already set. So let no politics, no religion, no tribal conflict, opinion.
All right, guys. So bye-bye, everybody. I'll leave it right here, okay? I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. All right. Tomorrow we continue, okay? For this ECOWAS parliament, because we have to have the right people in the right place. That is our goal. We have to sanitize our democracy and sanitize these guys that want to come into our politics. If you feel, say, parliament is just this place that you could, come and just mangle. No, those days are over. Bye-bye, everybody.